innovative content, global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. A very warm welcome to you from our SRO TV studio here in London, the world capital city. Yes, it's a very beautiful morning here. Good morning, sir.
Morning. See, I'm the breakfast person.
So. How are you doing today, sir?
I am who I am. Yeah. You wake me up too early, young
Yes. Yes, sir, people, you're welcome to the morning show. This is Wake Up Nigeria. Of course, where we bring you all there is to Nigeria, all the topical issues, the news, as fresh as it comes. My name is Princess Kessy, and I have with me this morning
Daddy Kris is here.
Yes, you're welcome, sir. So, sir, we have a lot of trending issues this morning coming in from Nigeria. A lot. Okay. But it's very worrisome to know that up to now, Labour and the federal government have not been able to find a path or a place of reconciliation or to say, okay, this is the deal. So Labour is still insisting, in fact, they are accusing the federal government of maltreating Nigerians because they voted their choice. A lot of issues coming from Kano as well, Kwankwaso, and other issues here. And
there's going to be a battle in that field.
Yes, and another thing is that Nigeria actually lost to the bid to host the AFCON 2025, which something would have still boost our economy just little, because we would have had a lot of movement here and there.
At least our image.
Yes.
Economy is one thing. The image of the country is another, But
well, we see how that goes. We'll start right away with some of the national dailies we have here, and I'm going to start with the Blueprint. Now, these are some of the stories coming from Blueprint this morning. We have here the main headline says INEC on November 11 of Sekopools. Growing violence, insecurity in Imo, Kogi worrisome. Expresses concern over shortfall in ad hoc staff. Crisis hits NNPP, loses Bauchi Guba candidate to APC. Kwankwaso, a serial loser, says Ganduje.
That's rude.
Very rude. And all these stories are on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says Afona your heads DSS PRO Directorate Service hails DG on innovations. That story is on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have another story here that says Access Bank UBA GT Bank others dominate e-business incomes, and that story is on page 23 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says court affirms Ebonyi governor Uwafuru's victory, and that story is on page 18 of the Blueprint newspaper. There's a story here that says NAF airstrikes hits IPOB ESN hideouts in Anambra, Imo, and that story is on page 15 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says First Bank sponsored Africa International Trade Exhibition promotes FDI, and that story is on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. There's a story here as well that says driver killed, terrorists kidnap passengers on Kaduna Highway. That story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Kano governor appoints 138 social media influencers as aides, and that story is on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says stand up order to Yoruba Obas Afenifere tackles Obasanjo, demands unreserved public apology, and that story is on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. Also, you can see a picture story here that says Muslim faithful during the Eid Maulud celebration across the country, Nigeria, on Wednesday. These are all we have coming from Blueprint this morning. Quite a lot.
Why a lot?
Yes, Daddy Kris. But I want you to now we have a major election coming up, because this is something that will actually is the people's right to vote in the people they want to be their leaders. And then we have INEC on November 11 offset proposed. Growing violence, insecurity in Imo and Kogi worrisome. Now, expresses concern over shortfall in hardcore staff. Now, the issue we have here is that a lot of people do not want to go into states or places where they know they have insecurity issues, because you wouldn't want to risk your life in as much as you want to work, or you are a staff of INEC, but because you know that the country cannot guarantee your safety, so they feel like, is my blood even worth it? It's not.
I won't go to Imo. I don't know about Kogi. Kogi might look worrisome, but Imo, these guys, if they catch you, you confess. I watching this social media video, it was really disheartening. The man knew that his own is either in his place account was going to be gone. When they had gonna ask him to do that, I think he was a little safety man, And so when you're in that place and you're working for the federal government, you are an enemy to many people. And I don't know how long this is going to stay and how we're going to actually address this issue. I was expecting that now that we have a new government, the issue in the Southeast would be something that any wise government, it takes nothing to, because at the end of the day, it's not a matter of who's right and wrong. It's a matter of forging a path. You see, I always see something in Princess here. They say democracy is the rule by the majority. But don't forget they are minority. And I call it oppression of the minority then. Because it's only the majority that rules, and the minority might be oppressed. In situations like that, you don't look for who is right or wrong. When you get a good leader who say, okay, look at what they're saying in the Southeast, I'm going to solve this problem by just appeasing to them. It doesn't mean you're weak. So
if we're appeasing them, does it mean that every other group in the country arising from somewhere causing mayhem should be appeased as well?
And you find that there are we have some genuine cases, some we not genuine. I'm not trying to say they're right, but there are some of these things. It's how you make peace really with people. You see, that's why we break it down to the individual levels. Everybody will have a case. And even the outsiders want to leave. We say they are majority, but they want to leave. So the Yorubas want to leave. They're in presidency now. So everybody is kind of divided. Let's find a way to carry people along. You understand? It's high time we cannot say what they're saying in the Southeast is completely trash, or what they're saying in the South is completely trash, or what the Yoruba man is saying is trash, or what the Hausa man is saying is trash. We need to find a way to say, okay, we need to live together. Nigeria is our beautiful baby. How do we make the best out of this baby we have? We may have differences, but there's a baby here we love. It's Nigeria. Nigeria belongs to every one of us. It doesn't belong to the Hausa, it doesn't belong to the Yoruba, it doesn't belong to the Igbo. It belongs to us. And by the time I don't feel belonging, there's issue. But it's singing this bell, letting people know. That's why I talk about the regions solving the problems of the country. Waiting for federal government is not going to solve it. Supposing the states are doing their bits, the local government are doing their bits, people will know that they belong to Nigeria. All we know now is the federal government controls everything. So if you're not represented at the federal level, you are not a part of it.
And then we saw a story here as well, still on insecurity. Driver killed, terrorists kidnap passengers on Kaduna Highway. We know times? that road has been a major source of concern to many for over how many years now. It has been from one kidnap to another, from one adoption killings. It's really worrisome.
It is. And I don't know, like we keep saying, there seems to be nothing the government can do about it. Let's see, it's disheartening really. And the driver has been killed.
The passengers kidnapped.
And these are people traveling.
Yes, funny enough, these are travelers. And you know that most of these people are just ordinary Nigerians. And at the end of the day, you start demanding so much from them. Something they've not, the kind of money they've not even seen or heard of all their lives is what you now demand, and at the end of the day, they don't have it to bring. What happened? You start killing them. It's really sad. And we saw another news here that say NAV airstrikes hits IPOB, ESN hideouts in Anambra and Imo.
What? That's serious.
Yes. We do hope that Nigeria's government will try so hard to put a stop to insecurity. The issues of insecurity, like you said, if you take shoe meeting aggrieved partners here and there, because we can't continue like this. It's as if I remember during Jonathan when Buhari came in with a mandate of change, clearing insecurity. So everybody, that was the major reason people actually voted for the ex president. They thought that his emergence then will be a military man. Yeah, so people actually had hopes here and there. And then he came, we saw that it kept growing. It's been from one killings, one kidnap, from one place to another. And then I want you to comment on this story just before we move on. Stand up order to Yoruba's Obas. Afani Ferre tackles Obasanjo demands unreserved public apology.
That's unfortunate for Obasanjo, really. Obasanjo is not one of those that don't actually obey, that doesn't have respect for our kings. That is not true. I've seen him. He was at the Oba, at the Ulu.
Prostrated.
Ulu, he was prostrated. And there are a couple of videos. I don't know what must have prompted. He's an old man. I don't know why they're taking everything that old man is doing for so serious. You know, this man is old. On a good day, at his age, dementia is supposed to have played in. He's still very healthy, sound. So I think we should forgive some of the mistakes this old man is going to do. It's just like you have a baby. But Mali said, twice a child and once a man. When you are old, you are a child. When you are young, you are a child. You once a man, twice a child. Obasanjo is at the age where he can be called a child. And you cannot hold him responsible for everything he does. And besides, I don't like to be on the public domain anyway, because anything I do will be written against me. Yeah? If somebody else has done it, you must be forgiven. Because it's Baba. When I forgive Baba, I beg. He's an old man. That's all I have to say.
And then look at this story here that says Kano governor appoints 138 social media influencers as aides.
That's kind of desperation. Waste of resources.
What is happening with that governor?
Waste of resources. And this is the thing. I think it's because he's facing this serious case now. And but this is hardly going to save the issue, you know. What can social media aid? What are they going to do? Unless you just want to empower them.
Is it campaign? Is, you know, they try dragging the other person. They drag you maybe to the extent where you on your own you tend to give up. Otherwise, I don't see why a sitting governor. These are the things we'll talk about. Now you don't know what to do with monies again and the state resources or the funds. All you do is to appoint 138.
No, please don't forget to. This man just has had a bad case in court and he's likely going to be removed from office. So he's trying to fight, maybe trying to galvanize support of the community to make sure they don't kick him out.
Is that the best way?
It's a desperate move and it is the wrong one. You know,
anyways, we say once again, congratulations to our Muslim faithful on their Eid Maulud celebration.
I see those beautiful images there.
Yes.
I don't know what this.
If I was to be in Nigeria now, that yesterday I would have been eating ram up and down from one house to another. You know how we do it. It's a massive celebration.
You see, this was one thing when we were growing up. I know they took it from there. You know, when we were growing up, we were reading elements of Quran and the Bible study when we were in class 1 or 2. I'm sure you guys see it. And when there is Salah, we all celebrate Salah. Then, you understand? And I think the beauty of it is I just have the opportunity to eat good food that very day from my neighbor.
And yes, like that's
Christmas.
one good thing about
Like
this celebration, especially when you're in the northern part or the central Abuja. You get to see a lot of ram, a lot of fried rice everywhere.
I didn't know why they didn't marry you. Should go be taking the house and they should be taking you guys away. Because you got so close to them. I mean, these are very cool. When I was in Slovenia, there's a Nigerian ambassador then in Hungary. He was my best friend. One I met in the
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. Anyway, we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Nigerian Pilot. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Nigerian Pilot this morning. The major headline here says, Enugu Guba, tribunal ignored the facts. And the writer says, Barrister Chukwudi Igwe reacts, says judges ignore fact of the matter. The other writer says that the entire judgment was founded in error of law and fact. Insists judges were wrong in the area of competent or subpoenaed witnesses. declares that a forgery of NYC certificate was proved by subpoenaed witnesses. Now, all the stories are on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. There's a story here as well that says labor calls for restraint over plan to sack 17,000 civil servants. Labor calls for restraint over plan to sack 17,000 civil servants.
Ooh.
And that story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilot this morning. We also have a story here that says over 2,000 patients to benefit from Afipo medical outreach. And that story is on page 9 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We have a story here that says Kwankwaso will remain a Syria election loser, says Ganduje. And that story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Air Force bomb IPOB's hideout in Anambra, Imo states. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says UNICEF Bayelsa takes exclusive breastfeeding sensitization to local governments. And that story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says the Northern Elders partner FG on making FCT safer. That story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Ileche people protest plot to impeach their son, deputy governor. I bet that we're talking about Ondo State. There's a little power tussle here and there with the governor. And then we'll have a story here that says manufacturers lament 272 billion naira on sold goods in first quarter. And that story is on page 9 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from Nigerian Pilot, quite a lot as well. And then we saw the major headline there. I don't know, it's as if the tribunal is actually just ripping into all the states at the same time. We have Enugu, we have Kaduna, we have other states here and there where they are affirming their election, or they are either telling them, you came here by hook and by crook, so you have to go as well.
Yeah, I mean, see, on a good day, Princess, this is the true practice of democracy. If the court or the judiciary can at the point in time say, hey, this is not right, this is wrong, I hope they're doing the right thing and they should be respected. And I don't think these guys, I sometimes listen to the delivery of the judgment. Sometimes you might not find wisdom in it, but that is the instrument of the law. They will not, they are people with some high level of reputation. They will not come up and say, give a stupid reason for doing anything. They might manufacture it within the law. That's the problem with the law. You can read it to suit yourself. The same case, you look for something that will suit you. Another one will not suit you. So a good lawyer will argue things in the law court, and it is up to the judges to make those decisions.
That is right. It is up to the judges. And then there's a very worrisome news headline here that says labor calls for restraint over plan to sack 17,000 civil servants.
Yeah, that's my issue.
Why?
A situation where a country that needs more labor force and you are
sacking 17,000. That is quite a lot.
The question is, Princess, I don't know where the problem in Nigeria is. When it comes to the issue of Nigerian workers, I get really agitated. Let me put it this way. These are people that are supposed to go out and make money. When you employ people, their job is to go and make money for the company. So it's just think simple. The question I ask is, are the civil servants not productive? They have that issue. Because you need more civil servants. You don't need to be dropping them. It means they are not productive. Perhaps our issue should be, how do we make them productive rather than putting them off? You understand? I thought this Tinubu government was going to say, okay, how do we make every sector? I won't employ, to be honest, I won't be president of the country and the civil servants are just lying down there like they do in Nigeria. Sometimes they don't come to office, they come very late.
They come very late and they close very early as well.
Very early, and that's unacceptable. You understand?
But it's the system. When the head is bad, what becomes of the
And
body?
this is why I say the president cannot be there. What about the ministers? This is why I keep
What are
saying.
they doing? Even ministers, they're always on vacation. They're always somewhere having
I saw
fun.
them eating.
Yes,
they saw
make
the video.
cooking. That we're going to blow up social media.
I wanted to share the video, but I just said,
Is
let's
Nigeria now a fun to them?
Yeah, they're having fun.
No, when you are a minister, a public servant of such, you're supposed to restrain yourself.
Especially at this difficult stage.
Yes,
People
like you don't make fun. You have a lot on your table, so you get so much.
in the land.
And then you're cooking.
Look at the dollar rate, and you are celebrating.
Look at this headline here that says manufacturers lament 272 billion naira unsold goods in first quarter.
Can you imagine?
This is much. And because people are not patronizing, people are not buying. It's only somebody that has so much money that will go and be buying things left and right. People are even struggling to feed. So you don't expect them to come and start buying maybe curtains, maybe interiors, maybe cars, or maybe even the food. They are struggling to get the little they can eat. It's that bad. And then when I see our ministers coming out to make fun of the people, it's heartbreaking.
Like I said, this is the only issue I have with my country. It's not the country has it all. The money is in the hands of the few. It's the duty of any intelligent government to to directly or indirectly take some from the rich and settle the poor. This insecurity we're talking about. Princess, how do you expect people to be happy if they can't feed their family? In fact, insecurity is a self-fulfilling prophecy in a country like Nigeria. Where you have people running on the street, they don't know where they're going to get the next meal. Now, it's not the duty of government to give you food on the table, but it's to provide that little opportunity or get you to work. I won't have young people coming out from uni and they have nothing to do. You go to farm. I will create farms in every local government.
I saw a video. This man from Kenya, what's his name again? Professor Lumumba says Nigeria have the best doctors, the best lawyers, the best this, and the best Yahoo boys.
The best, yes. Leave the Yahoo part of it first.
But he said that, and then it's because you don't have a lot of jobs, you don't have things to settle your youths. They are there now. We're betting graduates on daily basis, and then what is the hope of this graduate?
But this graduate can be put to work.
Can be put to work. We have a lot already saying, I'm finding my path, I'm creating my world, I'm learning a trade, doing a skill here and there, but we still need the government to do what is needful.
That's a country where the government is no more in control. You see, that's why everybody's now in control of what they do. That has been the problem with Africa as a whole anyway, where the government does not really know what is happening at every level. Otherwise, it is the duty of any wise government to think simple. Princess, think simple. You have kids, children, about 10, 20 of them. If I have 50, I'll be more stronger than you because I have more people to work with me. The question I ask the Nigerian government is, why don't you think of how to make the Nigerian youth productive? Instead of putting people off labor, get them to work. You see, it's no excuse to say, I want to lay you down. No, I will come back and say, you will do your job. Your ministry must be making Nigeria money. Let's think simple. Because I'm not going to be paying. No, let's get it clear. As it is now, it's the oil money that is paying all these people. They don't generate 1 penny on their own. And that's why it is hard on the government. But the government should only just turn around and say, okay, listen, no, every ministry should now be making money for us. And when you think like that, why can Ministry of Agri people be hungry? How can petroleum be hungry? Education, they conduct exams, they make money. Do you know Ministry of Education, how much WAEC is making? It's only some few idiots collecting the money. So it is not true that the Nigerian ministries cannot make money. It's just the federal government has so much money coming from oil that they refuse to pay attention to the little ones. And that's why it's becoming. Because Princess, 1 naira, 2 naira, when you gather it becomes...
It's something.
But because they ignore all those little things, and some people are getting fat with big stomach, and I'm sorry, that's why some of the industries, some of the agencies, or some of the parasiters are dying.
Anyway, there's a news here that says UNICEF takes exclusive breastfeeding sensitization to local governments. I really love that. These people should know the importance of breastfeeding. Sometimes you don't, you give birth to a child, and the next thing, 2 months, you start forcing something into their mouth. 1 month, you start giving them what you shouldn't give to them. Breastfeeding take this from me as a woman, it's very, very key. It's important to a certain stage of the baby's life before you can even give water and other food, or like our people, local people will bring gari and be forcing gari and water and be forcing on the child.
You never see Yoruba. They'll force, will sedate the child. And they call sedation, in fact, something if you do it here, you go to prison. You understand?
No, that is
sedation.
right.
You understand?
So breastfeeding is very paramount. Breastfeeding is important. And I love the fact that they're taking it to local government, to the rural areas where people can understand the importance of breastfeeding.
Communication. You see, Nigeria, thank you. If Nigeria can just make use, if all the social media we are having, or the mobile phones we have these days, is just towards government creating some little news and fighting the fake news, as they call it. They say, like Mohammed always talk about fake news. I said, but sir, why don't you fight the fake news by providing good news? Because when you provide the real news, people are not stupid. They can figure out this one is a lie, this is the truth. Because we want to hear what the government is saying. Sometimes we don't hear from them. We hardly hear from the Nigerian government. Only one man sitting on the front of the government, and that's it. But this is a country of 220-something million. Not all of us are that educated. So you need to find a way to reach us in our comfort home. Look at social media is reaching everybody today. Instagram is doing more. Look at what. So there's a lot Nigerian government can do, and it's time we have our own.
Yes.
Our own. This YouTube is not our own. Facebook is not our own. Instagram is not our own. Now China has come up with their own TikTok. Where is Nigeria? See, they are simple things. We are 200 million people. We cannot always be feeding on what they give to us. What happened to a smart government saying, this is time we create our own? Niger, or the same thing, Niger. You understand? Niger, and that becomes a social media. You add one or little things to what they already have. You don't need to create something new. Let it be possible to just do picture and this. You'll be surprised. This is a country. Let the federal government put weight on it. See, promote things there, things will begin to happen. Wow. And we'll have our own.
Yes. We see how that go. We keep calling on the government, we keep reminding them, but it's as if though people around them are not even telling them the truth. And if they are not telling you the truth, as a president, as a governor, as a minister, you have your phones, you have social media, you are connected to the world. So you should be able to tell or to know when people are going through a lot of things that are the reality of life. And then there's a story here that the Kris says, Kwankwaso will remain a Syria election loser, says Gwanduje. That is harsh.
Like that too. I don't understand. That is rude. You understand? But anyway, they're politicians. The true ways, and they fight one another. Understand?
Wow.
Kwankwaso can deal with that.
Anyway, that battle that also has been on for quite some time, so we're not new to that. We hope that, but the problem is that when we keep saying that when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. Anyway, we'll move on quickly now to the next newspaper we have. That will be the Daily Sun. Yes, the Daily Sun. These are some of the major headlines we have coming from the Daily Sun this morning. The major headline here says, federal government considers options to abort a labor strike, and the rider says most cause injection. Others urge government labor to factor well-being of Nigerians. Advert strike. Afenifere calls for more consultation. Tinubu may unveil fresh palliatives in October 1st broadcast. Now, all the stories on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says angry directors petition presidency over alleged AGF's age falsification. Others, and that story is on page 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says a bandit sack Niger community, establish camp, villagers flee. And that story is on page 5 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says Ganduje hits Kwankwaso, calls him Syria presidential election loser. And that story is on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says Eid Maulud, governors, others call for religious harmony, patriotism, unity. And that story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says fire kills 113 at Iraq wedding. arrest warrant issued for owners of wedding hall. And that story is on page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. We also have a story here that says Abia plans to take over of Ojukwu Banker War Museum from federal government. That story is on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from Daily Sun this morning. Of course, we saw a story here that says federal government consider options to abort labor strike. Most court injunction, man, others urge government, labor to factor well-beings of Nigerians about strike. And then Afenifere calls for more consultation. Buhari, beg your pardon, Tinubu may unveil fresh palliatives in October 1st broadcast. Labour and federal government, I don't understand.
But it's a difficult one, Kris.
I've said it before that Kris, like if Labour wants to go on strike, all this while they should have gone on the strike. And of course, let your impact be felt. This is why you are a union. This is your job. And if that's the only way the government will listen, then you do it so that they listen to you and the masses.
Yes.
Coming here back and forth, closed door meetings, negotiation, consultation, and at the end of the day, not getting to a point where we say, okay, we have resolved the issue. It's annoying.
It's sad, very sad, very sad. And Princess, what you said, what you see is what we're getting. We cannot continue the way it is right now. It's unacceptable.
It's really sad, and I'm not happy about it. And then we saw a story here that said bandits sack Niger community, establish camp.
Sack who?
Sack Niger community. Now they went to a community, they sacked everybody. Of course, the presence of bandits, nobody will tell you to run before you start running. You will run for your life, of course. And now they establish a camp there. Villagers flee. Only in Nigeria.
The question is, where is the local government chairman?
Only in he would have flee. Will he stay there? Where is the governor? And where is the president? Where are your security chiefs?
I'm sorry.
This should be the question.
This is why we talk about a failed state.
It's a failed state.
A place where hoodlums they just come out and push people out of community. Innocent people at that matter. You understand? And the painful thing in all this, even the evildoers, they are untouchable. They are
untouchable.
You can't reach them. So you are actually fighting somebody in the same
pain with you. Or you're fighting somebody that is in the same shoes with you.
Exactly.
Somebody that they can barely feed. Now you go to their ancestral home. Where do you want them to go to now? They are on the road, and then you set a camp there. That was what happened some time ago. They went to Benue community. They brought every building down, so it became robbers. It became a desert. I can't remember the name. We've seen this before. The government actually did nothing. And now when you go to Durumi, yes, I used to go there even before I came here. I went there. You will see a lot of IDP people there, and I was when the day I went, I always go there. So one of the ladies came and she was praying for me. I'm like, "Ma'am, the clothes we bring for you, you always tie a wrapper. That they are much. Look at the children. When you say she's an old woman, the young girl she will be tying wrapper. Why she will not wear the clothes they can wear?" And I say, how's it? The government reaching out, agent people with that individuals are coming. NGOs are coming, but not really government because they don't know their fate. And as it stands, they don't even know what are their communities in Benue. A lot has happened. They don't have anything to go back to. Not a home, not a family, nobody. And I don't understand. How can a country be like that?
Yes, you're asking the same. Anyway, I pray that one day Nigeria will become the dream of our dream.
That is a prayer of every well-meaning Nigeria. And we really do hope that because it's the kind of things you hear sometimes, just they are not
like I said, it's only the poor people. You see these big boys, they have policemen guiding them. The local government chairman can take off. He's going to flee to safety. He's never going to be caught. It's who they're going to cut. It's poor old people in the village who are now powerless, that are now, who are vulnerable, that are the ones that are going to suffer all this.
And then I saw a story here that says fire kills 113 at Iraq wedding. Arrest warrant issued for owners of wedding hall. That is serious.
Yes. And well, if it's probably in Nigeria moving, it's not going to be a top news. If they can displace us and nothing is happening.
Yes.
And so.
Anyway, we'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that would be the news, Nigerian News Direct. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the headlines here. It says October terror strike. Labour LP backs organized labor as anxiety mounts, says Tinubu's government punishing workers for voting their choice at election. Now I'm going to take that again. This is a serious allegation or a serious statement. It says October 3rd strike. LP backs organized labor as anxiety mounts, says Tinubu's government punishing workers for voting their choice at election. Now that story is on page 3 of the News Direct newspaper. We also have a story here that says voter apathy. INEC raises alarm on insecurity, violence in Imo, Kogi. And that story is on page 21 of News Direct newspaper. We also have a story here that says President Biden appoints 2 Nigerians into advisory council on African diaspora engagement. That story is on page 21 of the Nigerian News Direct newspaper. We also have a story here that says FCT Minister Wike lays off heads of 21 agencies, and that story is on page 21 of the Nigerian News Direct. We also have a story here that says Sanwo-Olu orders cleanup along Lagos Red Line corridor as rail project races to completion, and that story is on page 2 of the News Direct. We also have a story here that says Nigeria ranks 6th in the world, 2nd in Africa for organized crime reports. And that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. These are all the stories coming from Nigerian News Direct this morning. I don't understand why are we always associated with things like this.
But sometimes, Princess, come on now. They just said we are number one, that the President Biden appointed us. So it's not only the bad ones. It's just the bad news sometimes.
Outweigh the good ones.
You know, when I say that's a top headline for me, you know, because I always believe that the Joseph of our time are the people in the diaspora. You see, when Joseph was sold as slave, he found favor, and he was one that actually delivered the children of Israel. Maybe it's time for Nigeria to tap on what we have. We have intelligent people outside. They are not connected.
They are even scared of going home. These are the issues. We have a lot of Nigerians.
They should not be. And that's where
Can you guarantee their safety?
That's where the government of Nigeria need to do more.
These are the issues and these are the questions. Anyways, congratulations to us from that appointment from President Biden. It's actually a good one.
Yes.
And then we saw a story here as well that say Wike lays off heads of 21 agencies.
Yeah. You know, Wike is this. You know, you guys love Wike a lot. Other than his toughy ideology, you know, and his stuff, for me, Wike is still old school, but he's still better than many. You understand? He's still better than very many of them. At least he's trying to work. Try to work within his understanding. You understand? Any government that doesn't understand the need to grow wealth is my enemy. Because at the end of the day, we're coming back to one trouble: insecurity, chaos, and all of them. Imagine now, if the local government were making money, states are making money, ministries are making money, would there be layoff?
No.
They can pay themselves. You understand? Sometimes government will just say, listen, I commission you to run yourself as a social enterprise. You understand? You begin to commission them. But the most important thing is to make these sectors productive. Productivity, we say, is make money. See, all of them, before you get to Nigerian ministry, they're all waiting for you. Able, intelligent human being waiting for either you're going to take them somewhere. Those of us that come from abroad, organize events. Oh my God. They know how to handle us. You know, they begin to collect 20,000, 30,000, which they don't need. These are intelligent human beings who can do a lot. They can do a lot of exploit for the country. But we're doing nothing, Princess. Productivity is the key. The way they say prayer is the key. Nigeria, productivity is the key.
Is the key. And then the Nigerian ranks sixth in the world, second in Africa for organized crime. What is organized crime?
This one you're kidnapping people, putting them, taking over villages. What is that called?
It's crime, not organized crime.
What do you mean? If they're not organized, will they be that many? Sometimes you see some serious things happening, they are organized. We are actually good at that, and I don't know what to say.
Anyways, this is Wake Up Nigeria now. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with some of the reviews. We still have a lot of news coming from our national dailies this morning. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Hooray! The next President Show is here again. Are you aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills? Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then register free now at superiorradioandtelevision.com or call the number on the screen. The Next President reality TV show, moving politics out of the polite drawing room into the clamor of the streets.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. This is Wake Up Nigeria. Of course, we're still on the newspaper reviews. I'm going to continue from Daily Trust, and these are some of the stories coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. The main headline here says, why Nigeria lost 2025 AFCON bid to Morocco, and the writer says, economy not hosting our priority. Red Committee Chair. We weren't strong contenders, Lumumba says, and events would have brought fortunes, Kofi Sori. All these stories are on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says, Malud, Governors Khan, Abbas preach unity, peaceful coexistence, and that story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says diphtheria, UNICEF send 9.3 million vaccine doses to Kano, 6 other states. And that story is on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says Access Bank invests over 200 billion in agribusiness. And that story is on page 19 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Yes, and then we'll have a story here that says vehicle in Pont Antica drops from 32,000 to 4,000 in 5 years. What do you expect? And that story is on page 20 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We have a story here that says no regrets leaving banking for greenhouse farming, a young entrepreneur says, and that story is on page 22.
I like that.
Of the Daily Trust newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from Daily Trust this morning. Yes, I love that as well.
Yes, two stories struck me. That one and the
main headline.
Why Nigeria lost 2025.
Yes, events would have brought us fortune. I said it even yesterday.
Perhaps it would have woken up in those days when there is an event. What will happen is young people will have gone to watch it, there will be news about it, and they will be forced to practice one sport activity or the other. Now, I don't know whether these guys are naive, whether it is my country that is left out. Do you know what premiership? The premiership, they all Nigerians support Chelsea, this, that. But a country of 200 million people, imagine what football, only good football team would have cost the country. If everybody in those days have the bed insurance, shooting, when you were young, you were not born there. You understand? The kind of football, everybody, Enugu Rangers, these were formidable football teams playing one another, playing the Nigerian league, and it was awesome. See, now it is a time where social media, if we can spend a lot of money, that's my pain, a lot of money watching Arsenal, Chelsea, this, and a country as big as us could not even develop our premiership.
Club.
Now, you know what is so funny here? They're going to start telling us, the Ministry of Sport, they're going to say, oh, there's no money. Whereas you can see what sports, only football has done for England. It has not only sold the image of the country, it's making huge money and creating massive employment. So how can the Ministry of Sports of my country be idle?
It's quite pathetic.
And so losing this kind of game shows that, because there are so many other games, so many other opportunities which we only know about football that much, that people will be able to tap into. It's a country full with young people. They need jobs. They need. You see, you can make. My only problem is, how can our government not turn what we have into money?
And look at this rider under that major headline that says, coming from the Rep Committee chairman, that says economy not hosting our priority. So the economy is your priority, but not hosting.
They don't understand what
this is
economy.
Coming from a Reps member.
No, that's the problem. You see, the question is, what is that bloody Rep man doing to raise the economy? You see, this is one of those things that will bring economy back. You look at the long term and the short term. This is on the long term. See, Princess, how can even Nigeria know that now we know what they must look what this young boy is doing in Napoli? Meaning, if we begin to groom future footballers, we'll have them for sale to the rest of the world. How can we not be spending energy training these young people into sport? Look at what our women's football did the other day. I think in the next 2 years, 3 years to come, women's football is going to be at its peak. Rather than these guys doing runs, they would find something good, playing good football. Nobody wants to wake up in the morning and do runs.
And I don't understand this one. They say we were strong contenders, Lumumba.
We were not. Princess, like this guy said in your show, stadiums are not good. The FIFA is saying that we're not going to give money to you guys, we're going to give to the girls. You understand? Last time our performance at the World Cup, Morocco did very well at the World Cup. So why were we? No, we weren't. Because we were not even at that World Cup. So give credit to Morocco, they deserve it. Kudos. You see, these are things we are all Africans. You understand? They did well, they represented Africa well, let them have it. But Nigerians should just wake up. The truth is, we were not. We were not contenders. We were not. It would be unfair to Morocco if they had given it to us. They are better stadium. We don't even have an.
And another thing, the insecurity issues would have made them also. We have
number one.
That is number one.
We don't even have image. See Morocco, they say have Morocco. Nigeria fly to Morocco. As big as Nigeria, we don't have an airline.
It's quite shameful. And once again, congratulations to the young man banker who left banking for going farming. That
guy is my hero of the day.
Yes,
he's a hero. He's my hero of the day. Honestly, Princess, you know the truth. You told me story of this guy you want to bring on your show who does akara.
Yes, a graduate.
Princess, if I'm in Nigeria and I'm doing any other kind of job, I'm a madman, because you can. That farming is one. Do you know people that actually sell Indomie? If you make Indomie.
I also have a graduate like that, but he's from Kano.
Yes.
He's a graduate from the prestigious Kano. Was I investing in Kano now? The very prestigious Federal University in Kano. And he studied food and nutrition. So he told me, I actually interviewed him before, and he did say, and he said he has gotten jobs in big hotel, world-class hotel, but he won't go. He does Indomie where we go to buy one Indomie too. That I don't know how much he's making here. It's fine. This is my space. I have my time to myself. I won't go and work for anybody. It will get to a stage where it will be bigger than this.
The Princess, this is now the story of apprenticeship. I have this pastor who was telling this beautiful story of how your mother will sell akara to send you to the university. Akara. That's what she's doing. She paid your school fees. And you came back. Now you're looking for a job. Instead of improving on that akara which your mommy has been. Because that's a skill that you need to improve on. Maybe you need to repackage.
Package, like that guy in Abuja. The guy packaged.
God bless
now we're seeing that akara is no longer the same akara we used to know.
So must we go to the university, Princess? The most of the people they call experts in Nigeria. Notice this, all these stupid Chinese who don't have a job here, who are like, don't have a job, you send them abroad to go and work with the company. When they get to Africa, they become an expert.
Okay. become
Maybe
a
experts.
process.
You know, the last time I was in Nigeria, they said bird flu. Say the expert in bird flu. I said, but I said the disease just come out now. I tell the expert yesterday. Do you understand? I get confused because they'll give it a big name for us. But on my own, who said that an akarama, very selling akara, mama selling akara is not an expert? The experience that woman had, you don't have it.
And funny enough, I wanted to bring this guy on my show Wednesday, and he had to reschedule. Do you know what he said? That that hour of your show is actually the peak time for me.
I said,
and so you need to let's move so that I know how to. Maybe I will have to go early that day, so I will not finish before that time. And because the queue is usually much than the Kris. When you go there, the queue is much. Sometimes I have to tell my friends selling around that area if he's coming home to buy me like the one of 3,000 we put in the fridge. Me and my kid sister. It's well packaged and the flavor is just something.
So women, we need to buy this. You should be ashamed. But you know what is the princess? Princess, this brings me to what I want you to do in the UK. You understand? Do you know most of us that come to the UK? This is exactly the same thing we see there now is what they do here. We are comfortable with the £2,000, £1,500 they pay us. But come on, princess, I've been to a Ghanaian shop. If you get how much they make in that shop a day,
daily basis.
Somebody that said I live in England, I get £1,000, £1,200, £1,500. It's an idiot. It's exactly somebody going to do a job of £30 when you can actually go on the street of London, put something on the street. You know, if you're selling African, I told you there's a story of this guy. The wife used to work in my nightclub in Slovenia. Princess, he was bringing this artifact, this bangle from Kenya, this nonsense. He bought a house within 3 months. The first 2 containers, the guy bought a house, and is it the same person I'm talking to? Princess, we have so much, we look, but we don't observe. There's so much fortune ahead of us, we don't look at it. And it's exactly what we see now. Nigeria, that guy, you're my hero. I always beg people, maybe I'm obsessed with people who can create their wealth in a positive way, you know. And then this whole trouble we're talking about now, don't forget the few seconds I'm here, I've already quarreled the government for not creating jobs, for not making money. How can you be in this world and you don't make money? That is the thing. Everybody watching us tonight, the question is, what are you doing to change your own life? Forget about everything. Nice. Make money.
Make money. And the last one here I want us to look at before we quickly move on to the next newspaper is vehicle imports at Tinkan drops from 32,000 to 4,000 in 5 years.
From 32,000. Because maybe it's the import rate.
I
agree, but what happened to let's use our locally made cars, Princess. This is
affordable?
Princess, if they want to do that, if we tell Toyota, we won't buy any car from you unless you assemble it in Nigeria. Let's start from there. Princess, as the assembling, they will engage us. We are learning the trick behind the assembly of Toyota car. That is a skill already. You don't say to us, you don't just throw away in fact, Toyota should not be in Nigeria today. You understand? Mercedes should not be in Nigeria. Volkswagen was in Nigeria. Now they are no more. If you want to sell car to us, give us only one thing, the assembly plant. Assemble the car in Nigeria. We will patronize you. The government will patronize you. But for the federal government of Nigeria to go out and import these cars, shame on you. You understand? So I have no say about that one. We should stop using these dead cars. We should not be a dumping ground for used cars in Europe.
Anyway, we move on quickly to the next newspaper. We have.
No, I talk a lot, so tell me when to stop.
And that would be the Vanguard newspaper. We have quite a lot coming from Vanguard this morning. Quite a lot, but we'll take the ones we can take. The main headline here, Vanguard News says, strike. How labor veterans got NLC TUC close ranks. And the writer says, LLC, TUC, each working a separate agenda for same purpose. NLC not carrying us along. This is coming from TUC. They allege TUC betray our trust. NLC counters. Veterans of labor movement intervene. NLC TUC leaders meet, iron out differences, jointly declare strike. Labour Party backs strike. And that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And we have a story here that says 3 kids 9 injured as gunmen kidnappers storm Kwara. 3 killed, 9 injured as gunmen kidnappers storm Kwara on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says gas flaring sack over 27 communities in Imo, and that story is on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says VCs present report of challenges facing universities to education ministers, and that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says Biden appoint Osaige Omosoge Chineye Ogumeke as advisors, and the lady is quite young, and that is what I love about that. So congratulations to them. That story is on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. We have a story here that says insecurity stopping us from opening tourist sites in Niger. That is coming from government, and that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. And these are the stories we can take. And from the sport decks, we saw AFCON 2025 to 2027 hosting right. CAF rejects Nigerian / bidding Benin bid. That story is on page 31 of the Vanguard newspaper. That Kris, you see that the main headline: strike high labor veterans got NLC TUC to close ranks. And the writer says NLC TUC, each working separate agenda for same purpose. NLC not carrying us along, TUC alleges. TUC betrayed our trust, NLC counters. Veterans of labor movement intervene. And now these are the issues. You want the common Nigerian to come and be roaming the streets with you in the name of protest while your home, your house is not even organized in the first place. You will see TUC saying something, NSC saying something else. And these are the issues. When maybe that is why the government is not even taking them serious.
That's it. If you see, things I don't understand is what are you really fighting for? You see, the country have enough for all. Princess, Nigeria have enough for every one of us. We don't need to be greedy about it. You understand? And if you that serve today, Tinubu, after 8 years, Buhari is gone now. After 8 years, that you will feel to reach, you go come out. See, there's nothing that Nigerians should be greedy so that we're all going to die. We will not die. You see, I love the way God creates us. Because what we don't have is time. God will give you a small time and He will take you out. He will bring another person small time and take you out. As you have your time, it's up to you how you use it. You boys at the NSC, Labour Congress, fighting yourself. You know that interview the day you have that guy asking, are you people divided? Because if you're speaking, saying that you want, and it's not come on, you want the federal government give you some big Ghana must go, the matter will change. No, just tell the government what you want. Government always saying is we are labor. We want you to create
in plain language.
Yes,
let's come to a conclusion.
Create jobs. You see, all we're saying is if labor can be sincere and say to government, all we want you to do is create more jobs, create wealth. Like we say now, look at this ministry sacking them. No, you don't need to sack our workers. Let us think how they can start to make money for themselves. Do you know these people can make money for themselves? These individuals, the same Nigerian that can go on the streets and make akara and make money. You say you put him in the educated people, put in the ministry, they cannot make money. It does not add up. So it's the government not telling them to make money. And it boils down to big government that doesn't trickle down to the people. The state should be having their own power. Local government should have their power. Ministry should have their power. They should all be doing one thing, make money.
Well, there's a story here as well I want us to take before we quickly go to the next paper that says insecurity stopping us from opening tourist sites in Niger. This is coming from the government. So I wanted to ask that, Kris, will the governor also leave their government house because of insecurity?
You know that young man that's not governor there.
Yes.
I don't understand the kind of thing. When government says security, then what do? We ordinary people.
I don't understand. Niger have a lot of land, vast land, a lot of that state is supposed to be one of the best in Nigeria because only the space they have alone that increase. Have you traveled through I traveled from Mina to Bida. I was exhausted. I can't wait. I was just quarreling. This place is too far. You have vast land, good land that can be put to use. I was even thinking that the new governor that came, since is the youth or a young guy, we have no, we don't want these excuses. They should tackle insecurity. They should do what they have to do.
The question is even other than this security, because princess, this is a catch-22 really. There will be insecurity because there's no jobs. You understand? The truth is when you create wealth and put the wrong people in prison, the society will come to order. But you can't even solve the problem of insecurity if you don't create wealth. So it goes down to one thing first. One thing and one thing only. Get the people to work. When you give job to youth corpers and they still do Yahoo, put them in prison. You understand? That's where they belong. But otherwise, you give them job. By the time you go to work in the morning, you come back at night. A small girl that goes to work in the morning and come back at night tired, you don't get time for runs. In the UK here, girls don't have time for runs. They go to work.
People are busy.
They're too busy. They don't even have time to see your boyfriend at Wahala because you come back, you're tired, you want to sleep. Do you understand? It's only when you are idle. All these wrongs, all this crime begin to play. And only that's where they now have time to organize themselves. By the time you scatter a family, because they're like a organized now, everybody go to their own job. When do they have time to gather? Is it not when they go and sit down in one place smoking with that's when they have time to kidnap people? Give them jobs. The question I don't understand is how can, maybe I'm too stupid to understand this. Please explain to me. How can you have young people and you cannot give them something to do to make money?
And the good thing is that even the new Governor Bago is a very young guy. So we do hope that he's going to make that state work.
That is our hope for agric. Only
you have the land for the to cultivate for cultivation. There is a lot of land in that state.
Bago should come to UK and just link with some. If you go to Israel, they all some of them love to go to Israel. If you go to Saudi Arabia and see how they farm there because it's a Muslim, then they bring you the technology home. Take Bago. I don't know what they go do for that abroad. Now you go to. Now I know now small time they go to Mecca, they go to Israel. I beg the next time you guys go there, look at how they feed themselves. Don't go and tell us how Allah going to come and save Nigeria alone. Tell us how those people there, they're not waiting for Allah to feed them. They have farms. They have a way they cultivate their land. Go to Israel, they have the biggest farm, the best. If you go to Israel, you say hallelujah, please take how they farm home. So Nigerians, what's in that there's no job? How can there be no job? How can there be no job in Nigeria when you can create farms?
Very well, then we'll take the next newspaper we have. That will be the Punch newspaper. We have quite a lot as well coming from the Punch newspaper, but we're going to take few just before the sports paper and we'll wrap up the show. The main headline here says, Labour Force federal government's meeting insists on indefinite strike. The writer says any fresh meeting would stop us. It is going to be mother of all strikes. Labour unions vow. LG says new meeting date to be announced. TUC asks government to account for subsidy removal savings. Now, all the stories are on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And then we have a story here as well that says Afenifere accuses Obasanjo of inciting Obas. I beg your pardon. Afenifere accuses Obasanjo of ridiculing Obas, demands apology. And we'll have another story here that says Ondo woman kills husband with pistol, flees.
Wait for Sam.
Sad.
Wait for pistol.
Like pistol, pestle. That's I think that thing you used to it's pestle. That thing you used to pound. How do you call it?
Oh.
If you're doing pound and yam.
Oh, that's what it is to pound
yes. Yes, to hit the husband. The husband died and she's on the run. It's quite sad.
Man, don't provoke her. Just take the hitter.
But how can you get to that stage of anger, of carrying such a heavy thing to hit your husband? I don't understand. People that are married should explain to me because I don't get it. And these are the stories we can take, and we'll have a story here, though not too clear, that says that Chicago academic record Atiku plans fresh shoot against Tinubu. And that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We have another story here that says debt crisis, top tax waivers. IMF tells Nigeria, and that story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. And the main headline here, Labour Fourth Federal Government meeting insists on indefinite strike. Any fresh meeting will stop us. It is going to be mother of all strike, Labour Union vow. And federal government's new meeting date will be announced. TUC asks government to account for subsidy removal savings. These are the things they should be fighting for, right?
No, you see, and now we're not saying this money should go on palliatives. You see, this is my pain. You understand? They said, okay, princess, we have a problem. We had a problem. Problem is we're spending a lot of money to bring in fuel, which the federal government is saying, no, we don't want to do that anymore. Let it come for the real price. We said, okay, now the money you are saving is not to give it back to us again. It will be equal to subsidies. You understand? Use it to build refineries. You understand? Start today. Then the federal government starts. Then we know you're serious. What is the point of keeping this money?
Because if you're telling us you can't pay for subsidy,
yes,
and then
you can give us money and say goody. You call it goody. Sugar.
I don't understand. It's quite. I don't understand.
It's stupidity. It's stupidity because it's just borrowing to pressure. You understand? We saying to government, we're supporting you. Please let's stay in. Tinubu, we are in support. We support you. Take the subsidy. Take the money. But you know what? Build refineries. Create refineries. Will after some 3-4 years will come back to normal. Is it not? We're not going to die. We will survive it. You understand? But by the time you take this money and you not throw it at us again, or some of your food, use the money to go and marry new wives abroad. Oh my boy.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
We go quickly to the last newspaper we'll have, and that would be the Punch Sport Extra. The main headline here says exclusive is even an exclusive that says no deal yet. Why NFF hasn't renewed Wadrum's contract, and that story is on page 7 of the Punch Sport Extra. We also have a story here that says Nigeria Benin AFCON 2027 joint bid lose. That story is on page 6 of the Punch Sport Extra. We also have a story here that says Ihena Shaw rules at Low Stars exits. That story is on page 6 of the Punch Sport Extra. And there's a story here that says at last, Osimhen ends 485 minutes goals draw. That story is on page 8 of the Punch Sport Extra. We have a story here that says Arsenal to offer Inketas for Tony, and that story is on page 4 of the Punch Sport Extra. There's a story here that says Reds almost hijack Amrabat, and that story is on page 5 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. And we have a story here that says Madrid shortlist Dazeri on page 3 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. And then there's a picture story there, that something that really caught my attention this morning. Just at the top left, you could see stars of the future. You see children there. I saw one there, handball, or is it basketball you call that? You saw them. These are younger ones thriving in sports. And it's really nice to see that they will be the star of the future. We can't wait. Now, do you think that I'm getting to understand this even more? Do you know Nigeria actually it was a joint bid with Benin against Morocco, and the two countries had to lose.
Where is in Benin? Who is in Benin? You know, this is what my man is saying. You see, the whole of ECOWAS should have been one country, one president. This is what we're doing now. Anyway, we'll come to that. Like I said, sometimes if I become president, I'm probably going to be a dictator because I'm going to stop all these countries from existing. What is Togo? They should shut up. They be a state in Nigeria. Then it should be a state in Nigeria. You understand? We can be stronger when we do things then. Look at this stupid currency. They are still under France anyway. British managed to leave us alone, but those ones are not independent. Anyway, Princess, when it comes to sport, it brings us to one thing again. This is how my brain tries to think. Imagine these young men now representing playing on their own outside the country. These young people struggle on their own. It's only when they got here now, Nigeria, and so they say Nigeria play football there.
It's our own.
See, supposing we now make it an intentional act, but let's put it this way: to make this kind of thing, every state will have its own national team, its own team that will play in the league. So let the state be involved. If the private people cannot do it, let the state then be involved at the beginning before they sell it to the private. Because this is what's going to happen. It's supposed to be better known as private. But if they are not, let the initiative now start with the state. Like I was telling you in my own community, Roboland, I said, let Robo have a football team that will play for Robo Nation. You are selling yourself. It's a name. Delta State football team. Anambra State. Imagine the nice footballing.
That is where you have to cut the good ones out.
The one that we're going to sell out.
Yes.
We have more people abroad today. Now the little ones are still representing us. Now, Princess, Nigeria government, before I go, today, look at what Afrobeat has done for us. How can we not make it a duty to begin to groom future musicians that will now make money? Do you know how much Burna Boy made in the UK? What this other whiskey made here?
Ashake as well.
Ashake just came here and closed down the place. Now, what are we doing to groom more? These kids went from the street to where they are. Now we can see we've seen the new oil. We're still on the old oil. No, it's time to stop. Any future leader, like we talk about this your governor of Niger State. It's not what he's supposed to be thinking about. You understand? I'm not saying it must be farming. Look at another money making. Football is another money making venture for young people. Music today, even movies. Thank you.
Anyway, quite a lot today, and we do hope that are more concerned about the labor and the labor strike, because this is supposed to be a shutdown, and they're telling you that stock your homes because it's going to be the mother of all strikes.
That's what Labor is saying.
Yes, that people should stock their homes. And it's the same thing I keep saying: when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. Now, this also boils down to the common man on the street. So I do hope that they will come to a even though Labour just said that any fresh meeting will stop us. It is going to be the mother of all strikes. Even though the federal government is trying to might get court injunction to stop that move, which they did before.
They cannot stop them.
But they did that before.
And so they're going to go to put them in prison. If they want to stop, they could have stopped. They could have gone on the strike. Nobody can stop the strike move. There's no court that can stop people from going on strike. I think the most important thing is coming to a stage where they say, what is the demand of labor? You understand? If labor is still making the same demand, if it is palliative you're demanding, labor, you are on the wrong side of history. You understand?
But CUC says ask government to account for subsidy removal savings.
Good. That's no.
Yes,
we want to call government, whether you account or that money, put out. Use it to make money for Nigeria. You understand? Let there be productivity in the country. The same thing. I don't know. I see. Maybe sometimes that's why people like us agree with Peter there. You understand? I don't know Peter one-on-one, but I just agree with some of the things the guy was saying. Let us move from this consuming, that is toffee ideology, into production. Production is the way forward.
Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed and we'll wait for the decision of government and labor as regarding the strike. And of course, October 1st is around the corner. Thank God we're doing it on a low key. In other people of the opinion, we don't have much to celebrate. We should actually be sober. Let's reflect. I love that. Yes. Thank you so much, Daddy Kris, for being on the show today. We appreciate your time, and thank you, viewers, for being part of the show. I remain yours truly, Princess Kessy. Before we go, don't forget to follow us on all social media handles. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, now X, and of course YouTube. Subscribe, hit on the notification bell, and invite somebody also to the page. Leave us with your comments. We'd love to hear from you. While you are out there, please don't drink and drive and obey the traffic laws. Try today to put a smile on somebody's face. It's a beautiful Thursday morning.
to smile on my face.
I know people are going through a lot, but please do well to reach out to somebody. Remember that peace is priceless, so let's always give peace a chance. This is a Wake Up Nigeria. We're reaching you from ISARO TV studio here in London. We'll see you again tomorrow on the show. Do have yourself a very beautiful morning.
SRO TV Talent Award is here again. We honor, recognize, and appreciate hard work of individuals in the creative industry, films, music, fashion, and comedy. Nomination of various categories is now open at superiorradioandtelevision.com/SRO TV-talent-award-registration or contact us via the numbers on your screen now. Powered by SRO TV London in partnership with the Federal